Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As you all know, I've already published 46 YouTube videos covering beginners level, intermediate level, and advanced level concepts of test automation by using Katalon Studio. So this is our lesson 47 where I'm going to teach you about the team collaboration by integrating Katalon Studio with GitHub. As part of this lesson, I'm going to cover three different chapters. Chapter 1, Understanding Git in the context of test automation, which contains three different sections. The first section is Overview of Git. What are the benefits of using Git for test automation projects and the basic concepts of Git. And then chapter 2, integrating Katalon Studio with Git. This consists of two different sections. In section 1, I'm going to cover the Git integration in Katalon Studio. And in section 2, we're going to start working with Git in Katalon Studio. Chapter 3, performing Git actions with Katalon Studio. This consists of three different sections. In section 1, I'm going to teach you the basic Git operations. In section 2, I'm going to teach you the advanced Git operations. And in section 3, I'm going to show you how can we handle the merge conflicts in Katalon Studio. Chapter 4, best practices while using the Git in Katalon Studio. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon, you'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you. Chapter 1, Understanding Git in the context of test automation. Before we integrate our Katalon Studio with Git, let us first understand Git in terms of test automation. As part of section 1 in chapter 1, you're going to learn the overview of Git. Git is a distributed version control system that allows QA team and developers to track and manage changes to their code over time. What do you mean by this? Let's assume you're working in a big project having multiple teams. If these multiple teams start automating your application and they are responsible for multiple modules to automate, then if those teams work in their local systems, how can they manage the code changes and how can they see the changes done by each and every team member? So that is where the Git distributed version control system comes into picture. So it is widely used for both open source and commercial software development, providing significant benefits for individuals, teams, and businesses. Git enables QA team and developers to see the entire history of their changes, decisions, and project progression in one place, providing context and facilitating collaboration. As I explained you earlier, if multiple teams start automating multiple modules, if they are working on their local machines, it is difficult to manage the changes and it is difficult to track the history of the changes. So Git enables teams to see their entire history of changes, decisions, and project progression in one place. With Git, QA team and developers can work in any time zone and collaborate effectively while maintaining source code integrity. So the teams who are working on the application, they can work from their own time zones. You can make changes in your local box and then you can push those code changes to the Git repository. It supports the use of branches, allowing developers and testers to safely propose changes to production code. Git repositories encompass the entire collection of files and folders associated with a project, along with each file's revision history. As I told you, it maintains the revision history of each and every file that you are working on. They are self-contained units, and anyone with a copy of repository can access the entire codebase and its history. GitHub hosts Git repositories and provides tools for developers to collaborate and ship better code. So now the GitHub is one new term that we are using. Git is a repository. GitHub is a tool that developers and testers can use to collaborate and ship better code. It offers features like threaded discussions, pull requests, code review, and integrations with various applications. So, by using GitHub, you can integrate with various applications and tools like Katalon Studio, and it gives you different types of features like you can pull the requests, you can push the code, you can review the code. GitHub's collaboration layers large developer community and extensive ecosystem of integrations transform the way software is built. That means GitHub consists of large developer community, and you're going to get lot of help from this developer community. Developers and testers can use Git commands to perform various tasks such as initializing a repository. You can clone an existing repository. You can perform staging the changes. You can commit the changes. You can merge the branches, and you can update the local repository with remote changes. As part of section 2 in chapter 1, you will learn the benefits of using Git for test automation projects. As I told you, Git is a distributed version control system which offers several advantages for quality assurance test automation projects. So let us see what are all the different advantages. The first one is version control and tracking. So this version control and tracking preserves the history. Git keeps a complete record of every change made to your test scripts and test cases, which allows you to track your test suite evolution, rollback, and revert. So, if a change is introduces a bug or unexpected behavior, you can easily revert back to the previous working version. And then collaboration. Git enables multiple team members to work on the same project simultaneously, merging their changes effectively. I'm going to explain how can we merge the code changes done by multiple team members by using Git in the next sections. Branching and merging. Isolated development. So we can create separate branches for different features or bug fixes, allowing developers and testers to work independently without affecting the main code base. Test new ideas or approaches in isolated branches without risking the stability of the main project. Merge requests facilitate code reviews, ensuring quality and consistency. Conflict resolution. Merge conflicts. So Git helps identify and resolve merge conflicts that occur when multiple developers or testers modify the same line of code. In that case, when you push the code to the Git, then there will be a merge conflicts. So you can resolve these kind of merge conflicts that occur when multiple testers modify the same line of code by using Git. Efficient resolution. Git provides tools and strategies to resolve conflicts effectively, minimizing disruptions to the development process. Backup and recovery. So Git stores multiple copies of your repository on different machines, providing a robust backup mechanism. And it can also provides the disaster recovery. In case of hardware failure or data loss, you can easily recover your project from a previous version. Integration with CI/CD pipelines. Git can be integrated with continuous integration and continuous delivery pipelines to automate testing processes. Trigger builds. Git hooks can trigger builds and tests whenever changes are pushed to the repository. That means if you are using your Azure pipelines or if you are using your Jenkins, so whenever there is a code change in your local machine, and if you push those code changes to your Git repository, then this Git can immediately trigger builds by using CI/CD pipelines. Collaboration and teamwork. A centralized repository allows team members to collaborate effectively and efficiently. Git's features like commits, branches, and merge requests foster communication and coordination among team members. Open source community and support. As I told you, Git has a vast and active community of developers providing extensive support and resources. And also, you can find numerous plugins and tools in the Git community to enhance Git's functionality for test automation projects. Improved efficiency and productivity. Git can help streamline the QA test automation workflow, leading to increased efficiency and productivity. By leveraging all these capabilities of Git, QA team can improve the quality and reliability of their test automation efforts, ultimately delivering high quality software products. As part of section 3 in chapter 1, let us see some basic fundamental concepts of Git. Here are some fundamental Git concepts that we should know before we start integrating Git with our Katalon Studio. While explaining these concepts, please refer the right side diagram. The first concept is repository. A repository is a collection of files and folders along with their history of changes. So it is the basic unit of work in Git. So you can create a new repository or you can clone an existing repository. The next concept is working directory. So this is your local copy of repository where you can edit files. That means this local copy sits in your local machine. Changes you make in the working directory are not tracked by Git until you commit them. That means when you are working in your local copy, those changes are not tracked by Git until you commit those changes. So if you see right side, you are working in your local copy. When you are working in your local copy, the Git repository won't track those changes. What you need to do? You need to commit those changes. And then our next concept is staging area. The staging area, also known as the index, which is a temporary area where you prepare changes to be committed. So whenever you make changes in your local directory, you are gonna commit the changes to your staging area first. So you add files to the staging area before committing them to the Git repository. And next concept is commit. A commit is a snapshot of a repository at a particular point in time. So it includes changes made to the files in the staging area. Each commit has a unique identifier. And then branch. A branch is a parallel line of development within a repository. It allows you to work on different features or bug fixes without affecting the main code base. You can create new branches, switch between the branches, and merge the branches. If you see the right side diagram, this is your Git repository. But there are some parallel line of development repositories you can find here. Let's say this is one developer, and this is your second developer, and this is your third developer. Let's assume these three developers or testers are working for three different modules. Then these developers can manage their own parallel repositories before they commit the code changes to the main repository. So this particular team is working on this parallel repository. This particular team can work on this parallel repository, right? And this team commits the changes to this repository, and this team commits the changes to this repository. So this way they are working on their own repositories. So once code changes are ready in the repositories, now you can push those changes to the main repository or master branch. Remote repository. So a remote repository is a copy of your repository stored on a remote server. You can push your local changes to a remote repository, and you can pull changes from the remote repository to your local repository. Pull request. A pull request is a request to merge changes from one branch into another. It's a common way to collaborate on projects and review code changes. So these are some fundamental concepts of Git. Now let us see the workflow of the Git. That means when you are working on a big project with multiple teams, and these multiple teams have to automate the multiple modules of application, then what is the Git workflow? Let us see. First, you're going to clone the existing repo to have local version project by using git clone command. If you see right side diagram, this is your remote repository which is sitting in remote server. First, you're going to clone either an empty repository or an existing repository to your local machine. And then you're going to start making changes in your local working directory by using git checkout command. So if you see here, you are checking out your local repository to work in your local working directory. And then once you complete your changes to your code base, when you are ready to commit changes, you need to use a command called git add to stage a snapshot of those files into a staging area. So here you are adding your local changes to your staging area, and then take snapshot of staging area and saves it to local repository. This logs in those staged changes by creating a permanent record by using get commit. So this git commit takes a snapshot of the staged changes, and it logs those staged changes by creating a permanent record. And then you need to push the changes to a remote repository like GitHub shared server. So here I'm pushing all those changes to your remote repository by using git push command. Git is a two-way exchange. To integrate your teammates' work, use git pull, which fetches changes from remote repository and merges them to local repository. So if you see here, if you want to fetch the latest changes done by other team members, you need to use git pull command so that all the latest changes from your remote repository will be pulled to your local directory. So this git pull uses internally two commands, git fetch and git merge. By understanding these basic concepts, you can effectively use Git to manage your test automation projects and collaborate with other team members. Chapter 2, Integrating Katalon Studio with Git. Till now, we understood Git as a standalone application. As part of section 1 in chapter 2, I'm going to explain what do you mean by Git integration in Katalon Studio and how it helps automating your test cases in Katalon Studio by using Git integration. As we know, Git is a version control system that enables you to track changes, merge codes, and return to earlier code version whenever needed. The branching feature from Git allows you to create multiple branches of one project. So with Git integration in Katalon Studio, you can improve team speed and productivity. Your team can collaborate on the same project without affecting each other. The Git integration supported in Katalon Studio based on eGit. A typical workflow of Git integration with Katalon Studio is depicted in the following diagram. If you see this diagram, this is your Katalon Studio and this is your standalone Git application. When you enable Git integration in Katalon Studio, you can clone an existing repository or you can create a new repository in Git and then clone that new repository to your Katalon Studio. Once you clone the repository from Git to your Katalon Studio, now your project is ready for working. So here you can start automating your test cases. Once you complete automating your test cases, or once you complete making changes to your Katalon Studio scripts, then you can commit them to the staging area and then you can push those changes to your Git remote repository. If you are working in multiple team member environment, you can pull all the changes done by other team members from your Git repository to your Katalon Studio. So that means now your project is updated with new code changes done by other team members as well. So this is the typical workflow of Git integration with Katalon Studio. So with Git integration, you can use Git commands directly from Katalon Studio. Katalon Studio allows you to create and manage branches, view commit changes, pull requests to sync the changes between the remote server and your local repository. The integration also allows you to optimize your software testing lifecycle without leaving Katalon Studio. So you can keep track of different versions of your Katalon project while also maintaining a backup version of the source code. Your team collaboration is better. Your team can work in parallel on their own branches, then share, test, and merge the changes upon completion. So you can integrate Katalon Studio with Git and its cloud hosted services like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, Microsoft Azure DevOps. For this lesson, we are going to concentrate on only cloud hosted service called GitHub. As we understand what is Git integration in Katalon Studio, now as part of section 2 in chapter 2, let us start working with Git in Katalon Studio. To start work with Git in Katalon Studio, we need to first integrate your Git with Katalon Studio. Katalon Studio supports a seamless built-in Git integration. Once enabled, you can access all Git features at Katalon Studio's main toolbar. This section shows you how to integrate and use Git in Katalon Studio. First, we need to enable Git integration in Katalon Studio. How can we do that? The procedure is, first you need to go to Katalon Studio, Window, Katalon Studio Preferences, and select Git. So let me go to Katalon Studio. So here in Katalon Studio, you need to select Window, Katalon Studio Preferences, and then you need to select Katalon. Under Katalon, you have an option called Git. So you can see here, you need to check this checkbox to enable your Git integration. You can also specify remote connection timeout here. If you want to set the timeout as 30 seconds, you can set. If you want to change this, you can change timeout settings here. So once you enable your Git integration, click on apply and close. So let's go back to our presentation. So you need to check the enable Git integration box. We are done, and click apply and close. So you can start using Git at Katalon Studio main toolbar. Let's go to Katalon Studio. So here now you can see in main toolbar, now I can see Git icon. So I can start using this Git icon now. If you want specific settings, go to Katalon Studio, Preferences, Team, Git for advanced configurations. So let's go back to Katalon Studio now. Again, so here, Windows, Katalon Studio Preferences. This time we need to go to Teams. So if you see here, under Team, you have a Git here. So here, you can find your advanced configurations. What is your default repository folder? If you want to refresh resources when index changes, and what is the committing configurations, and what are the common configurations that you can do, and what is the date format, and how you want to maintain the history, right? And then the project settings, synchronized settings, staging view, all these kind of configurations you can change here. Chapter 3, Performing Git Actions with Katalon Studio. As we already completed integrating our Katalon Studio with Git, and we enabled Git in our Katalon Studio, as part of section 1 in chapter 3, let us see some basic Git operations that we can perform in Katalon Studio. The first operation is clone a Git repository. After enabling Git integration, you can clone an existing Git repository into a new directory on the local machine. So following are the steps that we need to follow. First step is, in the main toolbar, click on Git icon and select clone project. You can also click on clone Git project in the test explore section. And then a clone Git repository dialog box appears. So let us go to Katalon Studio. So here, if you see in the main toolbar, if you click on this drop down, there is an option called clone project. You need to click on this, then clone Git repository dialog appears. So before we clone a repository, we need to first create a new repository in Git. So for that, let us go to GitHub. So this is my GitHub. I've created an account. It's a free account and I logged in with my username and password. So here I want to create a new Git repository. Click on new and provide the name of repository. I'm going to provide the name as Git Katalon Integration. So this is my repository name. And then I would like to keep this as public. If you want to select private, you can select private. But for now, I would like to keep it as public. And then scroll down and click on Create Repository. As soon as you click on Create Repository, now Git Katalon Integration Repository is ready. And this is my unique URL for this particular repository. Okay, HTTPS URL. Okay, you can copy this one and go back to Katalon Studio. Here I am cloning the newly created empty repository to Katalon Studio. How? I need to copy this repository URL, paste it here. So if you go to our presentation, connect to Git with HTTPS. To let Katalon Studio get details about your repository, enter all required information and click next. What are the required information? I need to provide HTTP protocol that we just now copied. So go back here now. This is my HTTP protocol for the newly created repository. And then you need to provide your authentication, username and password. So let's go back here, and this is my username for my Git repository or for my GitHub. And then password. How can we get the password? Let's go to presentation. The personal access token to access the Git repository. Go to GitHub account and generate personal access token. So now I'm going to generate a personal access token in GitHub to connect with my Katalon Studio. So this is my GitHub where we created a new repository. So to generate personal access token, you need to go to your profile and then click on settings and scroll down to the bottom where you should see developer settings. Click on developer settings, and here there is an option called personal access tokens. I would like to use tokens classic option. I don't want to go for any beta version. Okay, now here we want to select generate new token. Here I'm selecting generate new token classic instead of beta, and here I can write this access token is for what? This access token is for Katalon Studio. Okay, and here do you want to provide full access to the repository, full control of private repositories? Yes, I would like to give full control, and I would like to give full control of workflows, right? And I would like to give full control of write packages, delete packages, right? This is enough. Now let's go down here and click on generate token. As soon as I click on generate token, it's going to give me a unique personal access token here. Copy this one. Now go back to our Katalon Studio, and here you need to provide newly created personal access token and click on next. As soon as you click on next, it says source git repository is empty. We know that the repository whatever we created is empty. That's okay. Now let's click on next, and here it is asking you to select your local storage location. Here C users Ravi K Git Katalon integration. So this is my local directory that I would like to store all the files. Okay, click on finish. So now your Git remote empty repository is cloned in your Katalon Studio. You can see here now this test cases, object repository, test suites, data files, and everything is empty because our Git repository is empty. So let's go back to our Git repository. So this is my new repository, right? That we create. This is my new repository that we created. Git Katalon integration. This is empty. That's why your Katalon Studio project also empty. If you see the location of this project is the location that we provided while cloning the project. This is your local repository. So this is how you can perform a basic operation to clone your remote Git repository to your local machine in Katalon Studio. As part of section 2 in chapter 3, let us learn some advanced Git operations that we perform in Katalon Studio. Our first operation is commit. The commit option allows user to view all current changes and decide which changes are stored in the local branch. So to perform commit operations, we need to follow the below steps. Step 1. In the main toolbar, click on Git drop-down arrow and select commit. The Git staging tab is displayed for configuration. Let's go to Katalon Studio. So this is our Git drop-down, and then select commit. So before we select commit, in earlier section, if you remember, we have cloned an empty repository that we created in GitHub. This is our empty repository, Git Katalon integration. So that we cloned here. That's why the Katalon Studio created an empty structure here, right? So now I would like to commit these changes. What are those changes? By default, Katalon Studio created a project folder structure. I would like to commit this to my empty repository. So for that, I'm going to select drop down and then click on commit. As soon as you click on commit, Git staging window appears. So this is your Git staging window, right? Let's go to presentation. So Git staging tab displayed for configuration. Here what we need to do, from the unstaged changes list, select the changes to be committed, then right click on them and select add to index. Or you can drag and drop items from unstaged changes to the staged changes. So that means selected changes are added to the staged changes list. Let's go back here now. These are all the folder structures and files that Katalon Studio created. I would like to commit these changes. I need to select all these, drag and drop onto staged changes, or right click and click on add to index. You can perform either of them. I would like to, let's say, add to index. So what happens? It's gonna add all unstaged changes to the staged changes. So once that is done, enter your comments in the commit message. Click on commit to store your staged changes into local branch. So let's go back here now. What I'm going to here, I'm going to provide commit message. What I'm going to do here, first provide your commit message. Here, this is my first commit with empty folder structure. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on commit. As soon as I click on commit, these changes are now committed to your staged local branch. These changes are commit to store your staged changes into local branch, right? This is my local branch, right? And now you can push these changes by selecting, go to clone and click on push. So there are two ways. Earlier we selected commit, but you can select simply commit and push also. But now we selected commit, the changes committed to your local branch. Now I would like to push them to my remote repository. How can I do? Click on push. As soon as you click on push, it is going to ask you, where do you want to push these changes? Because we have not created any branches, we only have master branch here. This is my master branch. So I'm going to select master branch, click on next. Here you need to provide your username and your password. Password is your passkey, access token that we created. Password is what? The access token that we created. Click on OK. So here if you see, now confirm following expected push result. So this is my master branch and this is my remote repository in GitHub. Click on finish. So now it is asking me to enter the username and password one more time. Click on OK. So now if you go back to GitHub and now refresh this, as soon as you refresh, I should see the entire folder structure here. See, what is the folder structure? This empty folder structure. So that is done. So let's go back to our presentation again. And now what is next operation? Manage branches. So let's assume we have pushed code changes to our master branch. Instead of that, I would like to create a new branch. Let's assume I have two teams, team A, team B. Team A would like to work in branch A. Team B would like to work in branch B. For that, I need to create a new branch. To create a new branch, follow the below steps. Step 1. In the main toolbar, click on Git dropdown and select Manage Branches and click New Branch. The Create Branch dialog displays like this. And then click Finish to create a new branch. So let's go back to Katalon Studio. Here, go to Git dropdown, select Manage Branches, select New Branch. Here, I'm going to name branch as branch A. However, first I need to select the source. What is the source? Select the source. Here, either you can select your local master branch or your remote branch which is in GitHub. So in this case, I would like to select my local master branch. Click on OK. So now it says the branch is not valid. So simply what we can do here, I can select it as branch A, small a. Sorry, I can do as branch -a. So now you can see, now your branch name is valid. click on finish. Let's go back to our presentation. So when you click on finish, a new branch is created. If you go back here now, a new branch is created. See here, this is your branch A. So now whatever the work I do here, right? That means I'm going to start working on my branch A instead of master branch. So that is how you can create the branches by using Katalon Studio in GitHub. So let's go back to presentation. So what is our next concept? Checkout branch. The checkout branch option allows you to switch from one branch to another branch. So what is the procedure? First step is go to manage branches, checkout branch. The select source dialog displays. Select the local branch you want to check out to be the current branch. The branch with this correct icon is your current local branch. So then click on OK. Let's go back to our Katalon Studio. So here, go to Git drop down, manage branches. Here, checkout branch. As soon as you click on checkout branch, now you can see here, earlier we created a new branch called branch A. If you want to check out this branch, you can check out this branch. Or if you want to check out this branch, you can check out master branch. So this is your current branch. So let's say I want to switch to my master branch. Okay, I want to check out master branch instead of branch A. Select master branch, click on OK. So that means now you checked out your master branch. You can see here now, I can see Git staging is Git Katalon integration master. Let's say I would like to check out my local branch. So here, go here, manage branches, check out branch. So I'd like to check out branch A, let's assume. Select branch A, click OK. So now your branch A is checked out. So if you go to the dialog box, check out branch, wherever this right mark, tick mark is there, right? That is your checked out branch. Let's go to presentation. Delete branch. To delete a branch, we need to follow the below procedure. In the main toolbar, click on Git drop down arrow, manage branches, delete branch. Delete branch dialog appears. Both local and remote branches are displayed. Select a branch to delete and then click on OK. Let's go back to our Katalon Studio. Go to Git drop down, manage branches, select delete branch. You can see here now my master branch is checked out. So that means I cannot delete this one. So you need to make sure that if you want to delete any branch, it should not be checked out. So let's say I would like to delete branch A that we created earlier. Select this and click on OK. Now your branch A has been deleted. Let's go back here again. Click on delete branch. Now you can see I don't see that branch A. So that means branch A has been deleted. So let's go back to presentation. So now push. So you can use push command to upload the local branch to the remote branch. We need to follow below steps. In main toolbar, click on Git drop down arrow and push. The push branch master dialog appears. Choose from the remote branch list which branch to be updated. All remote branches in your Git repository are listed here. Click next after finishing selecting your remote branch. The push confirmation dialog appears with details of your commit. Click finish to push your commits to the remote repository. Let's go back to our Katalon Studio. Let's make some changes here. Let me create a new test case. Right click here and create a new test case. I'm going to create a new test case called login smoke test. Click on OK. Let me also create a new test suite. Let's go here, select your test suite, right click, new test suite, smoke suite, click on OK. So now I have created a new test case and also I have created a test suite, right? Now I would like to commit these changes. You already know how to commit the changes, right? From your unstaged changes, drag the changes from unstaged changes section to staged changes section. And now provide comments. Commit message. Committing test case and suite. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on commit here. So that means I'm committing changes to my local staging, right? So now we need to push the committed changes. How can we do that? Go to Git drop down, click on push. So here, Git drop down, click on push. So this displays these changes should be pushed to which branch? I'd like to select master branch and then click on what is happening here. Your changes are actually in your current local branch, correct? Current local master branch, and I'm pushing those changes to remote branch, remote master branch. Click on next and provide your username and password. Click OK. And now you can see here you are committing changes to your master branch. See here, and this is your unique master branch ID. Okay, and click on finish. It is asking me to enter the username and password one more time and click on OK. If you go back to my remote repository and refresh this, see, you can see here there are no test cases. If you refresh this, so now you should have test cases and test suite folders because we just created test case and test suite, right? So this is how you can push the changes to your remote repository. So let us go to another concept called pull operation. You can use the pull command to incorporate changes from a remote repository into the current branch. We need to follow the below steps to pull the changes from remote repository. So in the main toolbar, click on Git drop down arrow and then select pull. Select the remote branch to be pulled into your local branch. Click on finish. The pull result dialog displays information about pulling requests on the selected branch and then click on OK. Let's go back to our Katalon Studio. Let's go to our remote repository. Let's go to test cases. I'd like to make a small change here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new file here, create new file. I'm going to name this file as testcase2.tc. Okay, and then commit changes. So now you can see here, now I have login smoketest.tc and also I have testcase2.tc. That means let's assume one of your team member pushed his local changes to this remote repository where he added a new test case. So now I would like to pull these new changes that made by some other team member in remote repository. What we can do, let's go to my Katalon Studio, go to Git drop down and select pull changes. So now you need to select remote branch from where you would like to pull the changes. Let's say this is one, right? We created a test case 2 from the master Katalon integration, right? So let's go back here, Click on finish. As soon as you click on finish, now you can see a new test case called testcase2.tc has been created by GitHub, right? So you just review the changes, click on OK, and then you need to check out the latest branch. Go to Git drop down, manage branches, check out branch, and this is my new branch where I created new testcase2.tc, and then select OK. So as soon as you click on OK, now I can see a new test case 2 in my Katalon Studio. So this is how you can pull the changes from remote repository done by your team members. Our next advanced concept is fetch. So you can retrieve all information about changes that have occurred in remote branches. So we need to follow below steps to fetch the information. So the difference between pull and fetch is, in pull we are actually incorporating the changes from a remote repository into the current branch, whereas in fetch we are just fetching the information to see what are all the changes made to the remote branch. Okay, so here let's go back to our Katalon Studio. So before we fetch the changes, let us go to Git repository and let's add another test case here. Okay, go to the test case folder, add file, create new file. Let's say I would like to add test case 3.tc, commit changes, done. And I would like to add one more file here, test case 4.tc, commit changes. So now our local copy has only two test cases, right? Login smoke test, test case 2.tc, whereas your remote has two additional test cases. So now I would like to fetch what are all the changes made to my remote repository. Okay, for that click on Git drop down and select fetch. As soon as you select fetch, it gives you information what are all the changes made. If you see here, a new test case 4 is created, and then a new test case 3.tc is created, and you can see by GitHub, right, what time these changes were made and by which user these changes were made, right? So you can see that information. So now if I again go and fetch the details, now you will not have any details because we have already fetched the details of our changes here. This is how we can fetch all the information about the changes that have occurred in your remote branches, whereas you can use pull command to incorporate changes from a remote repository into your current branch. Another concept pertaining to manage branches. So earlier what we did, we just created a new branch called branch A, but we never pushed that branch to the remote GitHub repository. So let's see how can we push the new branch changes to the remote repository, and then how can we merge the new branch code changes to the master branch in GitHub. For that, let us go to Katalon Studio. So this is my Katalon Studio where we have cloned Git Katalon integration from GitHub, right? This is our repository, and that is the same project that we cloned in my local repository. And then we have seen different types of concepts and where we created a couple of test cases. So now let's assume you're working in a very big project and you are automating the test cases pertaining to an application, and you are having multiple teams and multiple teams are working on multiple modules. Let's say one of the team, which is team A, would like to fix all the bugs that are reported by higher management, and those bugs are impacting more than 50 test cases. Then what is the approach that team A has to take? Because the code changes impacts more than 50 test cases, more than 50% of the test cases. So you should not start code changes directly in master branch. Instead, you need to create a new branch and then start making changes in the new branch. After reviewing all the changes done by the team, by one of your superior or lead, then you need to merge those code changes to master branch. So how can we do this activity? For that, what I'm going to do here, let's go to Git and then manage branches. I'm going to create a new branch. I'm going to name this as team A branch of team A. Okay, here I need to select the source. My source is local master branch. Select OK. And then let us create branch named team A. Finish. So now your team A branch has been created. If you see here again, if you go to checkout, right, so you can see team A branch is checked out. Now let's assume the team A start fixing the bugs. So as part of that, they created another test case. The test case called test case by team A. Done. And now I have completed recording entire test case, and then I have completed automating the test case, let's assume. Okay, or I have completed fixing all the bugs. Now if I want to push these changes, I would like to push these changes in team A branch itself. Before that, let's go to repository. If you see here, this Katalon integration repository has only master branch. You don't have any other branches, right? So let's refresh this and make sure it has only master branch. See, it has only master branch. That master branch contains 1, 2, 3, 4, like smoke test, test case 2, test case 3, test case 4. Now I would like to push the changes done by team A to the new branch called branch A. So here git select commit. Now whatever the changes that we made here, right, I'm gonna move them to staged changes and provide a comment saying that bug fixes by team A. Click on commit and push. What we are doing here, see, you can see here what is the branch. It's a team A branch. Okay, I'm pushing changes to team A branch. Commit and push. So it says this is your remote repository and branch is team A. I'm not pushing to master branch. I'm pushing to team A. Select next and provide your username and provide your password. Click on OK and then finish. So it is asking the username and password one more time. Done. So now let's go to here, the remote GitHub repository. Refresh this. I just refreshed. Now you can see here, expand this. Now I have master branch and also I have team A branch. Let's go to team A branch. If you see the team A branch, this team A branch has the new test case added by the team A, which is test case by team A, right? So now, if you go back here now, let's go to master branch again, okay? So now, let's assume team lead has reviewed this test case and he felt all the changes looks good. Now we can push these changes to master branch. How can we do that? Go back to Katalon integration, select master branch here. Okay, this is the master branch. So you can see here it says team A had recent pushes 1 minute ago. So I'm going to compare and pull request. Select compare and pull request. Now here I'm going to add title bug fixes by team A. That's okay. Now scroll down and create pull request. I'm creating a pull request. Here I can see here now I can provide comments saying that this is here require approval from specific reviewers before merging. So I'm lead. So I'm going to say reviewed the changes done by team A in new branch called team A, approving changes. Now scroll down and provide comments. Okay, comment it. Now you have another button called merge pull request. I would like to merge the pulled request. Merge pull request. So here it is asking to confirm merged pull request. Okay, confirm message. So now what happens? See now, pull request successfully merged and closed. You can delete your branch, temporary branch that we created. Before that, what I'm going to do here, let's go back to your Katalon integration. Now I want to see master branch should have all the changes done by the team A in team A branch. Let's open this now. See here now, I have a new test case called test case by team A. Correct? That means now your team A branch and your master branch both got merged. And now all the changes are available in master branch. So now what I'm going to do here, earlier what we did, as soon as you merge the code changes, right? You got a message saying that pull request successfully merged and closed. You can delete the branch A because I've already merged all my changes from branch A. So now I can delete branch A. Done. So now let's go here now. Select Katalon integration. Now you should not find your branch. Right? You have only master branch which is having the latest changes done by team A. So this is how you can manage the branches, especially if you are working on multiple teams and your teams has to work in different branches for different modules. You can make your code changes isolate by using different branches, and then your lead or superior can review all code changes and merge the code changes from different branches to the master branch before you roll out to the production. As part of section 3 in chapter 3, let us understand how can we handle merge conflicts when you are working in multi-team environment. Resolve Git conflicts using Katalon Studio. Why do we have Git conflicts first of all? So in a source control system like Git, conflicts occur when two or more people make changes to the same file concurrently. The conflicts may appear at a members local repository or Git remote repository. To avoid conflicts, the team must collaborate following several Git practices. For example, before pushing new source code to Git remote repository, one must remember to fetch the latest version of Git remote repository, resolve any conflicts, and merge the code with local version. So let us see one example to understand how to resolve Git conflicts using Katalon Studio. So let us say the chart below demonstrates how conflicts may occur when user 1 and user 2 are working on the same project. The conflicts occur when user 1 and user 2 try to push new code to the Git remote repository without updating the changes from each other. Let's see an example here. Let's say you have a user 1 and user 2, and these two users cloned one remote repository. He cloned remote repository, user 2 also cloned remote repository. And then user 2 making his own changes, user 1 making his own changes. So in this case, user 1 pushed his changes to the remote repository. And then user 2 user 2 tries to push his changes to remote repository, but it's gonna fail because the remote repository has been updated with the latest changes by user 1. Hence, what he needs to do, he will get a conflict. He has to first fetch all the changes from the remote repository. Fetch them. Once he fetches, he will be able to see user 1 changes as well as his own changes. Then he has to resolve those conflicts and he has to push the changes to the remote repository. So this is how the conflict resolution happens. So now let us go to Katalon Studio and see a real-time example. How can we resolve the conflicts by merging the conflicts? So let us say user 1 and user 2 are working on same test case in a test project. User 2 added a new comment, then committed and pushed the change to the Git remote repository. At almost same time, user 1 also added a new comment and then committed and tried to push to the Git remote repository. So what happens? Unfortunately, since this user 2 has already pushed code before user 1, so the version of code in Git was different from the version of code in user 1's local repository. Therefore, Git rejects user 1 push action. So for that, let's go to first our user 1 mission. Let's assume Ravikant is user 1. What I'm going to do, before I start making any changes, let's create a new repository in Git. Let's go to GitHub, create a new repository. Create a new repository. Name this as Katalon Git multi-user. Now let's create the repository. Now what is our first action? This particular repository need to be cloned by user 1 and user 2. Let's copy this URL. Let's go to Katalon Studio. Let's assume Ravikant is user 1. I'm going to clone the newly created repository from GitHub. For that, click on Git dropdown, clone project. Here, what is the URL? This is my URL or HTTPS of my new repository. Paste it here and provide your username and then provide your access code that we generated in earlier section. And then click on next. You can see here the source Git repository empty. That's okay. And then click on next. And this is my local directory where I would like to work or where I would like to make changes. Click on finish. So as soon as you click on finish, now you have cloned your remote repository to your local machine. Now you can start working or you can start automating your test cases. Who? The user one, Ravikant. So now let's say this user one, Ravikant, creates a new test case. Right click on test case folder and click on test case. I'm going to name this as login test and click on OK. I have just created a new test. So now user 1 would like to push these changes to the remote repository. What we are going to do? Go to Git, click on commit and now drag all the changes from unstaged changes to staged changes. First commit from user 1 Ravikant and then click on commit and push. So it says select a remote and name branch should have this in the remote. Okay, this is my remote branch. Okay, and then click on next and provide your username and then provide your password. Provide your password. Click on OK and then finish. So it is asking the username one more time and password one more time. So now if you go back to our repository, now your empty repository should reflect all the changes done by the first user Ravi. Okay. So now let us go to user 2 mission and we are gonna clone this same project in user 2 mission and start working in user 2 mission. So this is our user 2 mission whose name is Sudha. Okay, so now let us clone the project that is checked in by the user 1. So let's simply copy this HTTPS code, copy this HTTPS URL and go to Katalon Studio, select Git clone project and provide the URL here and then provide your username and the password, which is the access code. Click on next and then click on next and this is your local directory where user 2 Sudha is going to work on. Click on finish. So now user 1 Ravikant, user 2 Sudha, both are having their local project and both the local copies are same. So now let us do one thing. Let us go to user 1 machine and do some changes for this particular test case. Okay. Here user 2 is gonna insert a comment, comments by user 2 Sudha from her machine. So I'm gonna save these changes. So in parallelly, user 1 also gonna provide a comment to the same test case, but user 2 is gonna push the code changes first before user 1 pushes the code changes. So this is user 2, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push these changes. Commit, and this is the change, and here I'm going to provide comments saying that comments commit by user 2 Sudha inserted comments. So here I'm going to click on commit and push. So provide your username, provide the access code, click on login. Now the code changes done by user to Sudha are available in remote repository. Let's refresh this remote repository. Go to scripts. Go to open this particular script. You can see here comments by user to Sudha from her mission. Okay. Now let's jump onto user 1 Ravikant mission and try to push the code changes. Now we are in user 1 Ravikant mission. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make changes to the same test case by inserting the comments. Here comments by user 1 Ravi from his mission. Now if you remember correctly, my local code is not up to date because the new changes pushed by Sudha are present in remote repository but not in my local machine. So now let's say I save this. If I try to commit these changes, what happens we'll see. I'm going to provide commit by user 1 Ravi from his machine. If I try to push these changes here, it's going to throw an error message for me saying your remote repository version is older version. Click OK. Provide password, click OK. So you can see here encountered problem. Show push results. See, it is rejected because there is a conflict. So now what does this user 1 has to do? User 1 has to fetch the latest changes from your remote repository. That is your precondition. So now what I'm going to do, go here and pull changes. As soon as I pull changes, select the remote repository that you would like to pull the changes, click on finish. Now it shows all the changes here. You can see here user 1 Ravi mission has this version and user 2 Sudha inserted comment, this is another version. So let's click OK. Now go to script mode here. So you can see here now head comments by user 1 Ravi is this, and then comments by user 2 Sudha is this. So it says there is a conflict. The test case modified by Ravi with this script and test case modified by Sudha user 2 with this script. So now my aim is to resolve the conflict. What I'm going to do, I would like to keep the script of both of them. Just remove this and then remove this, because while validating I felt like the changes done by Sudha are valid and changes done by me also valid. So I'm going to resolve the conflict and stage them here. Stage them here. And now you need to commit and push the changes. Let's commit and push the changes here. Provide your username, password, click OK. So now if you go to your remote repository, refresh this, now you should find the comments from Ravi as well as Sudha, user 1 and user 2. So this is how you can resolve your conflict. What we did, first user 1 has to pull the code from Git remote repository to his local machine, so that user 2 changes will be reflecting in his machine. Obviously user 1 will see message about the conflict. What we saw in the script mode, in test case, we found user 1's comments and also user 2 comments. And then we looked at the script carefully, we modified the script and we pushed the script, and then we pushed the code from user 1 machine. So this is how you can handle merge conflicts. It is very important concept. Chapter 4, best practices that we need to follow once you integrate your GitHub with Katalon Studio. Using Git with Katalon Studio can streamline your testing processes and enhance collaboration. So here are some best practices for integrating Git with Katalon Studio. Initial setup. So when you are setting up or when you are configuring Git with your Katalon Studio, you need to first set up a Git repository for your Katalon project. So this helps in tracking changes and maintaining version control. And then you need to ensure you have a configured Git integration in Katalon Studio by going to Katalon Studio preferences and setting up your Git settings. And then you need to follow a strategy in creating branches. You need to use branches to manage different features or fixes. For example, you might have a branch for each feature you are working on or for each bug that you are working on. And then you need to maintain the naming convention. Follow consistent naming conventions for branches, such as you can specify feature / your feature name, or you can specify as bug fix / your bug fix that you are working on. And then you need to commit regularly. That means you need to frequently commit the changes. Commit your changes regularly to avoid losing work and to make it easier to track progress. And then you need to write clear and descriptive commit messages whenever you do frequent commits that explains the changes made. So this helps in understanding the history of your changes. And then merge requests and pull requests. You need to use pull requests for merging branches. So this allows for code reviews and discussion before changes are integrated into the main branch. And also you need to resolve the conflicts. Address any merge conflicts that arise and ensure that the integration is smooth without conflicts. And then syncing with remote repository. So you need to frequently sync your local code or your local Katalon Studio code with remote repository. How? By regularly pulling the updates from the remote repository to keep your local repository up to date. And also you need to push your commits to the remote repository to share your updates with other team members regularly. And the next one is you need to use git ignore file. So you need to configure .git ignore file to exclude files and folders that do not need a version controlled, such as log files does not need version control, so you can exclude them, and your reports does not need version controlling, so you can exclude those reports, and you can exclude some temporary files which does not need version control. And then backup and recovery. So you need to regularly back up your repository to prevent data loss. Most Git hosting services offer automated backups. For recovery, you need to familiarize yourself with Git commands for recovery, such as git reset, git revert, to handle mistakes effectively. And then documentation. You need to maintain documentation of significant changes or updates in your project. So this can be in the form of change logs or any README page updates. And then testing before commits. So you need to run your tests before committing any changes to ensure that your code does not introduce any new issues. And then collaboration. You need to coordinate with team. Communicate with your team members about the changes you are making and any issues you encounter. So collaboration is key to effective version controlling. So these are all the best practices that you need to follow while using Git and Katalon Studio integration. This brings us to the end of our lesson.